Hello everyone, my name is Laura Weisgop and my presentation is titled Improving Access to Transit for People with Disabilities, Exploring First and Last Mile Challenges in Kalihipalama, Honolulu, Hawaii. The equity issue I'll be talking about today is the first and last mile problem. So public transit is a key component of sustainable and equitable cities because it provides alternative transportation options for people who can't drive or do not want to drive, and it's more affordable as well. So, a lack of connectivity to public transit has been shown to increase the use of the personal automobile and also reduce the use of other transportation modes such as walking, biking, and transit. Because people may choose not to use transit due to unsafe conditions or missing walkways or the path does not meet accessibility needs. So when individuals are unable to reach their destinations to and from a transit station due to barriers that exist in the built environment, this is known as the first and last mile problem. This problem is particularly experienced by marginalized groups, and one of them is people with disabilities because they depend more on transit. They have limited mobility, they have slower walking speeds, they have a shorter uh, distance or threshold that they're willing to walk. So they particularly experience the first and last mile problem. They're more in haste for this particular group. Therefore, the purpose of this paper will be to explore some of those first and last mile challenges that exist for this group in the Kalihipalama neighborhood in Honolulu and provide some solutions. So the Kalihipalama neighborhood was one of the first areas to be developed in the island of Oahu. However, after downtown Honolulu flourished, this area was neglected and nowadays it has outdated infrastructure more than downtown Honolulu. This quote from the Transit-Oriented Development Plan of Kalihi neighborhood evidences this problem, where sidewalks are missing on most streets in Kalihi, creating actual and perceived safety concerns. Where sidewalks do exist, they are sometimes inadequate due to their narrowness and obstructions such as utility poles and boxes. Here is a map of the Kalihi neighborhood. It has numerous bus stops in the area and it has a rail line, a commuter rail projected for 2031. The area is also part of a transit-oriented development plan and district. However, these lines are the conditions of sidewalk, and as you can see, they are within fair and poor condition. So lots of options for transit, but the conditions to get to transit are poor. The Kalihipalaman neighborhood does not only has infrastructure deficiencies, but it also has one of the highest concentrations of people with disabilities in some of its area, which represent the top 5% of census with that higher concentration, and it's around 20%. Also, Kalihipalama is one of the poorest neighborhoods in Honolulu. It has the lowest median household income. I had the opportunity to walk around Kalihipalama and also to observe it through street view, and here are some of the challenges that I could notice. So first, on Dillingham Avenue, we have uneven pavement and unobstructed crossing. We also have obstructed sidewalks. We have also here obstructed sidewalks. There's a lot of homelessness in the area, which causes obstruction. Here, this one is near from the bus stop, but I've noticed also on the sidewalk they build shelters, and this also reduces the width of the sidewalk. And the seating as well is anti-homeless architecture design. So a person, a normal person and a person with disability would not be able to sit. And in some areas, there's just like no sidewalk at all. So these conditions makes the environment to get to the bus stop for a person with impairments very challenging. Also, since there is the construction of the rail, the challenges are even worse. There's a lot of sidewalks closed, the pavement, it's uneven, and for a person that has pain in their body, those vibrations just makes it unable for them to reach the transit stations. So here is a solution for the first and last mile problem for people with disabilities. So the first one comes from San Francisco, and it's about adaptive scooters and bike share programs. So micromobility options are a great alternative to address the first and last mile problem. However, there are not a lot of options for people with disabilities. So the city of San Francisco required um, micromobility companies to develop a pilot program for scooters. And as a result, since it was a permit, it was required, 4 adaptive scooter pilot programs were launched, and this resulted in 50 adaptive scooters. Here are some of the options and photos, but there are multiple different options that were launched across these companies. Also, the city of San Francisco launched a adapted bike share program. This operates on Sundays at a very affordable rate. It works on a park, but this is an idea that can be translated into other programs that can function on other days of the week, or it's an alternative to encourage people with disabilities to try other modes of transportation. Another solution comes from the city of Los Angeles, where they developed a program, Mobility on Demand, in partnership with VIA, mobility company, to provide ride-hail services in the nearby 3 main rail station areas. And these trips were subsidized at the beginning. They costed the same as a Metro Pass, but later the fee was eliminated entirely, and the trip was free if you were going to or coming from a transit station. This program was heavily focused in provide an alternative for low-income populations, but also for people with disabilities. So the program was equipped with wheelchair accessible vehicles to provide these services to people with disabilities, and they included trained personnel that could assist the people. And to book the rides, you could use a phone app, but you could also call. So and the app could also be customized so it is accessible for people with impairments. So some potential solutions for the Kalehi-Palama neighborhood would be first to provide a connected network of sidewalks that are ADA compliant. I think the first step is just building those missing links and making sure that the sidewalks and the crossings are safe. That's the first step. And second and third, are solutions inspired on the cases studies. Kalihi is a great area to bike because it's flat, the weather is great all year round, and now it will be or is part of the transit-oriented development district, and the activity will be improved by the rail system. So Honolulu has bike share program. I think it could be expanded to provide adaptive bike share to people with disabilities in the area. And similarly, since Kalihi will have important rail stations and is part of a TOD district, it will be to explore partnerships with transportation network companies to deploy it, to see if this is feasible. It has been based on the case study, but to see if that is an alternative for the Kalihi, which has a higher percentage of people with disabilities and also lower socioeconomic income. And this will be my presentation. This concludes my presentation. And thank you very much for listening.